Love Life Bluebird's aesthetic and style was one of the aspects that stood out to me when the project initially started. For those unaware, Bluebird is the latest project in the Love Life series, and one primarily taking place online with the characters attending an online school. I've already made 2 videos going over the project, so if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. Love Life is a multimedia series revolving around school idols featuring a multitude of content, either it be anime, music, art, and games. The only reason I bring that up is just to get the formalities out of the way. This isn't going to be a usual video essay on the Love Life franchise. We're not going to go deep into what the company has done, decisions they made, all that stuff you probably heard a couple of times, a lot from admittedly yours truly. We're gonna keep it relaxed, just talking about the style of Bluebird and how it really encapsulates what the project is fully doing. Love Life has always had a certain aesthetic to their series, something that when you see it, you instantly recognize that's from this franchise. The costume design, the character designs, the art style, these are many aspects that make Love Life, well, Love Life. Even something as small as a color palette can do a lot to change the vibe. Love Life's been around for over a decade and has maintained a ton of consistent aesthetics within its life. But that doesn't mean they don't try to experiment with other styles. NoodleGirl is the prime example that I think many, even old Love Life fans, can tell was trying something new. But even other groups such as Hosna take a different approach to the Love Life style. And one day I'll give Hosna a proper look because its visual style is very intertwined with the app and story, leading to a very unique feel for that group. If there's one thing most people like, it's consistency. When you try doing something new, chances are you're gonna get complaints no matter what you do. I still remember the initial reactions to the anime adaptation of NoodleGirl, which went for a different art style compared to previous Love Life seasons. That kind of reaction instantly tells you the rules and standards Love Life has created for itself. When you stray farther and farther away, people will begin asking, is this even Love Life? Cut to Love Life Bluebird, not the initial teaser, when it was actually formally announced. Every Love Life group has had a color associated with it. Muse has pink, don't argue with me, Aqua has blue, NoodleGirl has yellow, Leela has purple, Hosna has red or blue depending on how you see it, and Bluebird also has blue. But its shade of blue is a bit lighter and more pastel compared to the more broad blue of Aqua, and we can see that lighter shade of blue plastered all throughout Bluebird's trailer. Bluebird exudes a very futuristic aesthetic. The grid lines, the almost Cortana-like AI silhouettes of the characters. It reminds me of Hatsune Miku actually, and how she's often portrayed as a hologram. In fact, for many of the shorts I made discussing Bluebird, I used the Project Sekai OST as it inhibited that otherworldly nature. Bluebird's premise of taking place online via YouTube and Twitter correlates to its style very well. You have graphics displaying social media comments, video player icons, it's like we're inside a PC. It actually reminds you of Super Smash Bros. Melee if its hue was just shifted to blue. This instantly gives Bluebird that unique edge that separates it from other groups. Even Hosna had some grounds in reality despite the Link-like Love Life premise and the whole app structure. Here, it's very much taking place within the online world, and its official trailer depicts that perfectly. We already knew what was partially going on due to the official leaks of the character accounts, but this trailer really cemented the type of visual style the series is going for. The replication of social media, websites, along with Zoom calls, oh my god. They were fully dedicating themselves to this aesthetic, and honestly, I gotta respect that. They quite literally boxed themselves into the premise that they're gonna be online focused, and that everything we see from them is only gonna be that online segment. We aren't gonna see them physically train, heck, we aren't even gonna see them dance, at least in the lore/story, not real life. When you have that kind of limitation set upon you right when a project starts, how do you go about taking advantage of it? I've been doing graphics for years now, and my style has changed as time goes by. I'm not very consistent with it, and anyone who's seen my edits knows that I tend to flip-flop between my visual style. I still have some consistency, but I like expanding my horizons every so often. With that in mind, how does Bluebird maintain its identity? Well, it's actually really cool what they do. I feel like anyone who experienced the COVID remote era of school and learning will feel somewhat at home here. This is one of those styles that only works for this group. Like, why are you showing a VTuber video editor setup in a music video? What's going on here? There was a crack theory going around that Love Life wanted to create this group around 2021, when COVID was still present, and you can feel it so hard. A lot of visuals and premise capture that Zoom meeting-esque vibe, and a part of me wonders if it was a creative decision or budgeted decision sometimes. The visual style showcased within these videos has a blend between old Windows computer graphics combined with how modern day programs look. You have stuff that looks like it comes from the old Xbox menus, and then you have modern day PC setups in the middle of it. It's that mix of reality plus dreamlike visuals that instantly makes it Love Life. It isn't new for Love Life to inhibit dreamlike visuals and sequences. I mean, that's been the entire point of the series, and they've often had tons of imagery that shows something beyond life. It's a case where your feelings are so strong that the imagination that someone else is thinking can be enough to the point you see what they see. The What Is My Life music video perfectly encapsulates this. Most of its visuals are based in technology, Windows tabs, social media, everything has solid colors and effects. However, as the song goes on, the visuals get more lifelike. You begin seeing realistic lighting and shadows, light rays, to the point it seems to be breaching the technology-like visuals they've had going on. Taking the lyrics into account, I think it's a really good representation of words reaching you through a screen, where you hear or see something so impactful that's not just a computer screen or show, it's something else. I think having this be shown right when a group started is a great way to establish the tone of the series. It may not be the same structurally, it may not even be the same physically, but it doesn't mean they still can't evoke the same emotions that past groups were able to beforehand. From this point forward, Bluebird's content would lean way more into this technology aesthetic, and what I mean by that is that they do Zoom calls. These Zoom calls, as I like to call them, bring another point of discussion when talking about Bluebird's aesthetic, the pure dedication to the online bit. Let me explain. You remember when Nijigasaki first started? How they got split into multiple groups with their own comic series, and many chapters would just be slice of life stuff, occasionally referencing real life events? Yeah, that was pretty cool. You wanna know how it was visualized? Well, via comic series. The same is somewhat done with Bluebird, but on YouTube and with PNG tube/anime Discord PFPs. You see what I mean by dedication to the bit? This is something I'd see Minecraft YouTubers in 2020 be doing, and also myself when I'm incredibly lazy. I'm not gonna shit on this speaking as an editor myself, but you see what I mean when I say it's really dedicating itself to this aesthetic of online content. You can see it as incredibly budgeted, or you can see it as dedication to the technology bit, which is the direction we're going with this video. I'm all about vision and creativity, even if at first glance it seems cheap, but that's mainly coming from my perspective as someone who's seen how other groups have operated. I won't be counting Love Life days as they don't really fit the visual aesthetic, and since their content lies outside the online format, they don't need to be restricted with its visuals, but I will praise the artwork for many of its characters because the art style is really beautiful. Do you guys remember when people said these characters weren't Love Life? I won't be going over the music videos they made for each single, as being real, they're all simplistic in terms of visuals. The most I can say is that they all maintain the color palette that was already established in the series. PNG, then you start doing some cool no camera movement, and that's not me critiquing it, I just don't have much to say about it when it comes to its aesthetics. Now, Bluebird is still very much ongoing, and maybe soon enough, they'll start straying away from the technology style. I think I sometimes need to remind myself that it's been only about 6 to 7 months since the project officially started, so the direction of the group could naturally change as they continue. What I'm trying to say is that maybe, just maybe, they'll go outside and we can actually see their ass as in their render, chibi, or Love Life days. How would their aesthetic change once that transition happens? How would you still maintain the technological aspect that the group was built off of? And of course, that's with the belief that the group will eventually evolve past primarily using YouTube and Twitter to showcase itself, because hey, who knows? Maybe in a year they'll still be doing covers and news on YouTube. We've had characters like Rina Tanoji manage to capture the technology aesthetic in their visuals, but I think for her specifically, it's a bit more different. Her style is more general in terms of technology, while Bluebird is specifically focused on the online technology aspect, with social media and online calling. When I made my first video on Bluebird, I mentioned I originally wanted to make a video on the visual style of Bluebird, but I wanted to wait a little bit more before finalizing my thoughts on it. For all I know, it could have just been a one-time thing. But after quietly keeping up with it, I'm glad to report that it still maintains its aesthetic, for better or for worse depending on your visual preferences. Bluebird has recently started releasing their covers for the temporary subunit groups that were formed a couple months ago. A long while back, they made a YouTube video asking for songs they'd like us to cover, and it was totally vague, but I won't deny that the song choices aren't bad at all. The first cover they released, as of the time of this video, is Fortune Cookie and Love by AKB48. The music video is great. It's very simplistic with anime chibis and all that, but the one thing I really enjoy is how it still keeps itself in line with the Bluebird feel. The visual style for the music video is filled with bright colors, halftones, colored shapes with no strokes. It's very in line with common Japanese music videos. They even have the animated shapes background that I'm still trying to learn how to recreate myself. Even with the style already established, they still managed to insert visuals of a Zoom call that has nothing to do with the song whatsoever. But do you get what I mean by Bluebird having a consistent style/vibe? Its entire core is based on technology and the online space, so they always find a way to represent it either by referencing it visually or by shoving it in your face. I'm being real, it is completely unnecessary as the music video already had a visual identity for itself. These dance moves, what is this? The visual style of Love Life is sometimes hard to pick out because of aspects such as the anime standardizing many elements like how a character should look or move. Although I'm sometimes not a fan of how Love Life has been operating certain groups, I do like how their experimentation gives a lot more breathing room for groups to visually express themselves. It can be expressing themselves in real life, via an app, or via social media as a whole. I think with my experience as a video editor and content creator, I'm more biased to look at Bluebird's aesthetic with a more intrigued view, because most other Love Life groups don't really do this. You know, having their entire premise in life centered around social media. Literally in lore, they talk about content creation and ad revenue, so they're both chronically online and do YouTube videos. Oh my god, it's me for real. Anyway, that's a quick video talking about Love Life. A bit of a shorter topic, but I don't really want to overextend this video unless you want me to go over a history of aesthetics and web design and a prolific use of nostalgia baiting by using old technology visuals. Unless you want that, because I could yap about that. Some of you may have noticed it's been a while since my last upload, and if you haven't, then good for you, because I took a short little break to focus on my personal life. I've missed out on a crap ton of things, including love life, but hey, that means there's gonna be a lot to talk about later on. I forgot I need to show my face like once per video.